This conference will now be recorded.
All right, here we are. We got to start over. So let's start with our names. Where you're from? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what is, I mean, I think it's really awesome though, just how we can have conversations without even, it's great to be able to introduce and talk to ourselves so we know who who we're talking with and what experiences we have and how we're going to make ourselves better just chatting. So, what's on people's minds? I mean, especially for people who are new here or people who have been here and coming back. What's happened since then to say, oh my gosh, I can't wait for the meeting on the 9th day of February so we can talk about blank.
Well, I think Megan, not to put you on the spot or Tree on the spot, but how are you both doing?
Um, it's a roller coaster. Um, I've always had healthy habits, eating and all that stuff and exercise, but I'm really starting to connect a lot more with that, which has been good for me. So I used to treat my migraines with my diet, and now I say, nope, I only treat one diet. I treat the MS diet. So now I'm like eating things that I didn't eat when I was treating my migraine diet, which has been nice. Like I really missed pork. So now I can have a little bit of pork and not feel terrible. My comfort animal here coming to see me. I'm a teacher though, so that's been on my mind a lot. I'm in the classroom. It was offered to me in the beginning of the school year because of my diagnosis that I would be able to stay home. But for me, I was like, that's going to drive me absolutely mad. But now that I'm like living it, it makes me a little bit nervous, especially because I just had my Ocrevus infusion January 20th. And I realized I can't get my COVID vaccine. According to the doctor, I should wait 3 months after my Ocrevus. So it's kind of mixed signals. Like, well, you're a teacher, so you should definitely get the COVID vaccine right now, but you shouldn't get it if you just had Ocrevus. So now I'm just kind of in that weird position where I don't really know what's best. My gut tells me to wait. Me and my husband decided, he's a teacher as well. They don't have a whole lot of data for people with MS, as far as I understand. And just having my Ocrevus treatment, it's just a lot to deal with. It's a lot. It's a big decision that I'm not getting straight answers about. And it's like, well, I just want someone to tell me what to do.
Yeah, they don't.
I don't think anybody can right now. So I go to work every day and I have my mask and we're hand sanitizing, so my hands are raw. But it's a balance between like my mental health and being being in the classroom and my physical health. Like I'm safer if I'm home, but I'm gonna go nuts if I'm home. So it's tough. And then luckily my first Ocrevus treatment, up until the day before, my husband wasn't going to be able to join me, which was super triggering because when I was in the hospital and diagnosed, no one was with me. So thinking I was going to have to
go because of the pandemic.
Oh, we were just diagnosed.
Wow.
You were just diagnosed, Megan?
Yes, in August. I didn't think I was going to cry. My goodness.
Oh.
Wow, that's totally normal, Megan. Emotions just come out. One thing I've noticed myself, Megan, is when with MS, when my emotions get really strong, I can't stop from going off the cliff. They just happen. So I just like cry all the time. I'm like, I'm sorry, it's my MS. Give me 5 minutes. And I'll break down in front of strangers all the time. So no judgment here. It's totally normal.
I think Ocrevus, Megan, I think you're in a good group of people to talk about Ocrevus. I'm not sure what everyone's medicine of choice is, but just looking around, I see a few faces that I know are also taking Ocrevus. So I don't know if they could talk about like the COVID vaccine or any of us with just our different MS treatments, maybe.
And I can look because I think that Dr. Bosser had something. I've seen videos specifically about Ocrevus and the vaccine and stuff. Yeah, so I'm not ignoring or anything. I'm just looking. I'll look on my phone to see if I can find it. So
Yeah. Was that the one down that he did with Dr. Brandon Bieber, or
That's what I was thinking.
yeah,
That
because
was
he did.
that was a while ago. I know the MS Society said 12
Yeah,
weeks after
they
your
did
Ocrevus
say 12.
infusion,
Yeah.
they've come out.
Yeah.
You have to, unfortunately, with everything being so new, you have to wait out different data come out because, like, for weeks and months, we had no clue. Like, are we supposed to get the vaccination? Can we get the vaccination with Ocrevus? And now they're like, yeah, you can, but you need to kind of separate it. And then, like, the data I've heard, like people who do get it when Ocrevus, it may not be as effective. So when I have a chance to get the vaccine, I'll probably have to get an antibody titer to see my antibody levels in my blood to see if it actually was effective at all. But yeah.
So
What grade do you teach, Megan, by the way? I'm just curious.
3rd.
Oh, fun grade.
Mhm. Yeah, they're fun. They're my favorite.
yeah. So Tree, what are you taking medicine? How are you doing?
So I got the vaccine.
Very
Oh,
good.
yay.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yesterday I had the MRI for the clinical trial, so next week I should find out if I got into it, and then I'll be starting a Baggio, or
Oh,
technically a Baggio, or the other drug that's the newer version of a Baggio. Blind study, so I won't know which one I'm on.
okay. Okay. And I think Mark, I think that was the name I saw. Was that it? I'm not tech savvy.
Yeah,
You
it
and
is
me both.
Mark. Hi, Mark. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm signing in. I just want to, I'm not sure what meeting or webcam you guys are on right now.
We're in the Barniscus room. This is a multiple sclerosis group.
Oh, okay. All right. I got the wrong meeting. I'm sorry.
No
no, it's
problem. It was
good to
nice
see you.
to see you.
All right. You guys have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
You too.
It's probably doesn't have MS, but I don't know what he has. Why he's got an issue somewhere.
You might be here for like a cancer group somewhere. It's all fun. So, yeah.
I have a question to ask.
I was gonna
Yes,
say, what
please.
brings you to here tonight to
Well, that wasn't the question I was going to ask. I'm asking before you.
yeah.
On a typical evening, like how many people do you usually get in attendance in the support group? Is there a typical?
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes it's around about this. Other times we've got about, I think last time we had about 15, 16. Other times it's just me and her. No, I'm kidding. No.
I always show up, Dan. Come on, you
Yeah,
can't get rid of me
no.
that easily.
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story. I mean, typically, there's usually at least about 8 or 9, and then it fluctuates. And which, when it's smaller, though, it helps because then we all get a chance to talk, and you just feel more comfortable about it. And so,
Right. But you were doing all of this before the pandemic, right? Was this always like a Zoom meeting?
It's on this platform.
Right.
Yeah, the AnCan. But it was once a month. But then because of COVID, that's how we started. Because of Kim,
yeah.
we've started doing it twice a month.
Just because when the pandemic first hit, it's like there were so many unknowns with COVID, with MS, and it was just like we needed to have more information more often, and so we've just it's everything's attended well, and so it's just like, yeah, this is needed, so this is what we do.
Yeah.
I was needy, so we made it to twice a month.
Twice a month.
And I'm not ignoring. I'm just digging out the what I'm going to do. I found the video and I will send that to put it in the chat so everyone can see it. Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. So yeah, so and I think just I want to just check in and see how everyone's doing. And Dan's looking for a COVID video.
You keep talking. And
Yeah.
I had a question.
Yes, Tree.
Anyone whose partner takes care of them, my wife takes care of me, and we just found out she's going blind. I was wondering, like, does anyone else have like that fear of like, what do I do if my carer gets disabled like I am?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm always terrified my husband's gonna have like a brain aneurysm or a heart attack or do something that he's not gonna be able to take care of me. That was one of the questions they sidelined me for my Social Security hearing. My lawyer said, you know, flat out, if you had no outside assistance, could you live on by yourself? And I had to think about it, be destroyed, and say, no, I could not live by myself. That was really hard for me to answer. So no, that's always on my mind. Like, who's gonna take care of me if my husband was not available or not unable to? Because accident, anything could happen, you know.
Thank you.
Well, it's one of those things, Tree. You know, Dan has MS and he's my primary caregiver. And so we've been really fortunate to be able to find programs to help, you know, different things across the state, government programs. And so I don't know if that's something that would be applicable to you. I believe there are programs in Texas where you could get some help or some caregiving.
well, I think you know, get a lot of friends, because friends help tremendously. I think that, because that's always the fear. Yeah, because if I, like, the times when I get sick, like really sick and fever and I can't function, you know, and relying on family. I mean, just that Jennifer's brother and mom have been rock stars and have come when I'm out of commission. But and trust your the fire department and everything to help get things, you know, I don't know.
Well, interestingly enough, and this is probably more information than a lot of you really want, but to do like activities of daily living, Dan has to help transfer me. And we're looking into a sit to stand to help like be something that would lift me and transfer me, help me to get to a standing position. So there's lots of different like technology and things like that. So maybe that would help you, Tree.
Tree, do you have a plan?
No, we just found out on Tuesday,
Oh, sorry.
so it's still really new. We still have to see a retina specialist, and hopefully they can do something to slow down the progression.
Sorry.
But it's something that I'm really thinking about, because like I can't drive because of my optic neuritis. So if she loses the ability to drive, the city isn't very public transit accessible.
There's probably a lot of big decisions you need to start thinking about, which makes it super tough. But
Yeah.
probably more helpful to do it now versus having to figure it down when you get past a certain wave potentially. But that sounds really hard. My heart just bleeds for you and your wife.
Thank
Sounds
you.
super hard. Like, how is your support system outside your wife? Do you have a good support system? Do you need to move somewhere where the transportation and getting around town is going to be easier versus San Antonio, closer to family, friends?
We're actually thinking about moving to Champaign, Illinois, which has a really good public transit system.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a lot of social service programs. And my wife's in school to be a counselor, so she'll still be able to work. And
Can I
the
just
weather's
ask,
also really agreeable there. What?
how did you come up with Champagne?
Oh, my wife has friends that live there.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah, nice.
so we did a lot. We've been thinking about moving for a while, and we did a lot of research into different places. And the cost of living there is agreeable because I'm on disability, so I'll get the same pay no matter where I am. Like,
So you already figured this out before this even happened.
yeah.
That's awesome. Now you have like the thing to get you to like move during the pandemic. Like who does that? Well, we kind of have to. Well, good for you. You got your first step figured out. If you're ready, like, am I gonna do this? Are we going? And you're just like, well, yeah, if we want to get around, we need public transportation. We have friends there, let's do it. That makes me excited. Unfortunately, you're gonna have Midwest winters, you're gonna be like, down the next door to me, next state to me, dealing with the winters and the ice, but
So Champaign is actually at a very interesting point in Illinois where
Much
they see
milder.
about 6 inches of snow a year.
Yeah.
we're breaking all sorts of records in Iowa this year. I'm just throwing it out there, Tree.
I'm originally from New Hampshire, so I'm used to snow. I just
Okay,
don't
so it's not-
particularly like it.
Okay.
So like then Chicago, then you picked the right winter to go down south, huh?
Yeah, really. I mean, although it's kind of weird here with the pandemic, it is,
Yeah.
it's difficult. And because it's my first, the first time I've tried to leave my home, the safety of my little community and neighborhood that, that I've been in forever. So this is just very foreign territory for me. And so it's kind of hard. I just don't know the lay of the land. I don't know. I'm directionally challenged as well as technology. I was like, I have way too many issues. But I mean, so between, I don't know. I have no landmarks. I've been lost so many times in the car with tears rolling down my face. And I argue with Siri and my GPS, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So when you say like Chicago, are you like Chicago, or more like Schaumburg or?
No, I'm in the suburb. I'm in the northern suburbs now, but I'm born and raised in the city.
Nice.
Yeah, I grew up in the city, went to school in the city.
Very cool.
Okay. Then that cold weather, I like the Midwest. I see a few of us are more Midwest and we're used to dealing with the cold weather and the correlation, you wonder, like, did we not get enough sun when we were younger or where in the heck? But that is fruitless worrying about where did my MS come from. So yeah, I've got it now. So yeah.
So we had Elizabeth move to North Carolina to be by parents. We had Twigstein move to Florida this winter. We're having Tree thinking about moving to Illinois. I'm staying put. I don't know, Mike, Dan, and Jen, Megan, are you staying put? Anyone else moving in the group?
But I did just get married. So
Yeah,
I will put that out there. I'm not moving, but I just got married.
Wow, congratulations.
Congratulations.
You were under like probably a lot of stress around the time of your diagnosis.
Yes. And actually, I think that we were originally scheduled to have this big wedding December 19th this year in our favorite place. And of course, we couldn't do that. And the stress and the stress of figuring all that out, I think, is what really triggered my flare up or relapse. I'm not really sure of the difference yet. But that was what did it, in my opinion, all that stress. So this year we did like a really tiny one on our original date, which was amazing. So it worked out. It was just a very stressful time. And then with the diagnosis, we originally had planned on keeping that big date for next year. But after I got diagnosed, my husband, Jeff, he says, like, no, let's do it this year because that was so unexpected for us. Like we knew something was going on, but we didn't know it was going to be forever, like a forever thing. This like mind-boggling diagnosis. Like I had brought it up to his sister and his doctor's sister in the summertime. I said, I think it might be MS, and she kind of felt like no, because I had CAT scans of like my sinuses and things like that, and they hadn't seen anything. So she kind of blew me off, and I was like, okay, good. If the doctor doesn't think that it's MS, then it's probably not MS. Well, it was MS. So
It's
stressful.
very typical where they're like, oh no, we're not. It's like the last thing they rule out.
Yeah. My doctor said he was 95% certain it wasn't MS, but just let's give you an MRI. Just
my doctor, I mean, I went to the ENT, and then I went for migraines and this and that and the other thing, and then the ER. It was the ER. They did a CAT scan. They were like, nope, you're not leaving. And they held me hostage for days. But they diagnosed me within, I think I was there. I went in on Friday, like during the day, and I stayed the night. I think I was diagnosed by the next day. Like it was so clearly MS, I guess. I don't know, but it was not a fun time. Not a fun time. I begged to go home. Just send me home. You can do all of this while I'm home.
It would be so hard to go through all that without
It
any
was traumatizing.
family. Yeah, that would be so hard to go through that and be in an area and you're not like, I can't even think straight right now, let alone, and you're telling me all this stuff and I don't have someone else to like, what did they say?
Yeah, and my phone died the first night in the hospital, and they wouldn't bring me the bag that my then fiance dropped off. I'm like, so I can't get in contact with my fiance. My Kindle died, so we already know like it was just a mess. And they didn't ask to call my then fiance the whole time except for that one time. And I was just telling Elizabeth through the chat, they charged me $32,000 because my doctor gave me Rituxan, which isn't FDA approved for MS, so not covered by my insurance. And I'm appealing that. Like I was a woman going through a brand new diagnosis with MS symptoms like dizziness and confusion and anxiety. They were fueling me up with anxiety medicine the whole time I was there, and Benadryl for my migraine and things like that. Now I'm appealing that. Like, no, they can't do that. Like, I wasn't of the right state of mind, and I would never put myself in that like sad pile. Like, oh no, I wasn't in the right state of mind, but I truly wasn't. So it's frustrating that on top of everything else, now I'm appealing that.
They should have
with great insurance. Like, what are we doing here? How? And the insurance company told me it was my job to ask the question.
No.
Because when you don't feel well, that's the first thing that you think about is, oh, let me check with my insurance.
See if I'm covered.
Yeah. Hours after entering the ER, I'm being told I might have MS, and now I'm being told make this major decision and ask the right questions. Mm-hmm. No, it's been a traumatizing time. I think that hospital stay will change me for a long time.
Megan, my Ocrevus, my first 2 infusions that you get 2 weeks apart, my PA was approved, but my insurance denied the first infusion. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what part of the prioritization approved did you not? It took 3 months for them to clear it up.
Oh my gosh.
Multiple phone calls. And when I was calling to someone that did not speak English as their first language, so that was just an additional barrier to get through.
Frustration.
The MS emotions were right there for you, I bet.
Oh, but I'm like, well, you didn't tell us if you had any other insurance. You're my only insurance. 3 months I went through that.
Give me a break, yeah.
And the hospital would send me bills for like $63,000, and it's just like, don't send me to collections. I'm covered. Keep it approved.
Yeah, they will never be paid a single penny. No way. I can't.
Oh no.
But luckily, Ocrevus was 100% covered. I'm sorry you didn't have that same experience. And I asked multiple times, is that covered? Is that covered? Is that covered? Is all of this covered? Because I don't want another surprise bill.
Yeah, you don't make the same mistake twice.
Never again. I'll ask that question every time they ask me, do you want to do this? Well, you tell me.
And so if people are listening or watching this recording, take that advice from Megan. Ask before they give you something.
Yep.
this
Yep.
covered.
I like to ask them for it in writing. If they tell me over the phone verbally, I always ask them to send me an email, so I can have proof.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can you say so and so told me over the phone, I was like, well, that was wrong.
Oh
Another
my gosh.
good
Okay.
question, another thing to do too, Megan, in the future for everybody, including myself, if you're in a situation where you're by yourself because you can't, make them call or conference a significant other or friend or get someone else on board that is not going through the my mind is, scrambled at the moment, that can get there to like verify and talk and ask questions that you may not physically or mentally have the capability to do so, because
Yeah.
I mean, just even if you're like super fatigued, you can't think straight. Let's
Today
just be
was one of
honest
those
here.
days for me. I got home from
Yeah.
work and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Megan,
Yes.
if it was a nonprofit hospital, you can appeal any bills from them through applying for their financial assistance, and it's based on your income. And if you make under 300 times the poverty line, they have to forgive everything.
Okay. How do I figure out if it's a non? I don't assume that the hospital I went to was nonprofit though. It's like a big guy.
Most hospitals in the country are nonprofit. If they
Oh.
receive any funding from the government, they're considered a nonprofit hospital.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
You just Google the name of the hospital and then financial assistance, and it should be like the first result.
Okay. Okay. Thank
I
you.
learned this from TikTok. It's amazing. I've already helped like 3 people.
That's valuable.
Okay.
I love the fact, Tree, that you got that off of TikTok.
Let
I
me
just think
download
that's
TikTok while
amazing.
I'm at it.
Awesome. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Mike, how's it going out in Arizona?
Just fine, Dan. I'm going on Social Security, so I have to navigate. I don't think anyone here is on that. So I have to navigate a new thing for my drugs and everything. It's going to be fine. And the weather's warm, which could lead to a hot summer, but I hope not.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
That's good.
So you're like navigating everything to going through Social Security.
Yeah, what Medicare. First of all, I have to join AARP. I've never wanted to do that, so I've avoided that for a long time. And now I have to because the health insurance is a lot cheaper. You mentioned AARP, and like part A, B, C, D, E, F, I have to know all that stuff. Finding my way through it. But there's a cap on all the worst case scenario. I can deal with that, which is good. Haven't seen Rick around town. I wish I would. We used to get together.
I imagine he normally pops in around 9:30. Well, that'd be 6:30 your time.
Right. No, 7:30.
7:30. Okay.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Yes. So, Twigstein, what? How did you? I think you're
Sorry,
muted.
You're muted.
There we go.
Yeah. No, you did well because it was like or mute your line when you're not talking. So no, you're awesome.
So, how are you doing this evening?
I'm okay. This is very different for me. I'm not. I feel old. I feel I've been living with MS forever, and I look at you young people and I just think like, wow, I probably had MS before you were born.
Yeah, I really don't. I don't
I was born before
appreciate
you
it.
were born.
I was 5 years old. I was 5 years old.
I was one.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, I think that's interesting that we're all living with multiple sclerosis, and it doesn't matter how old you are.
Very different stages of life.
Yep, and when I'm assuming were we all kind of diagnosed when we were young, like right at that point in your life when you have all these expectations that you're going to be able to do so much, then boom, you get smacked with a chronic illness.
Yes.
Well, so by age, we'll just go around quick number then. I was 27.
I was 23.
Kim, how old were you when you were diagnosed?
33, but my symptoms started when I was 22.
See?
Oh wow.
Elizabeth, how old were you?
I just turned 20, like 5 days before.
Oh, wow.
Tree, how about you?
1 month before I turned 28.
Megan,
30.
Okay.
we've seen you are how old?
31.
31. And Mike, how about you?
Oh,
I think you're muted.
Yeah, I was 42 when I got finally diagnosed.
42. Yeah, see, it's, wow.
Yeah, that it does get you. It's like when you're in the prime. So, had you been having symptoms for a while, Mike?
Yeah, I was neurologist. Told me I was going to get when I was 37, and took 5 or 6 years to. But so when the first attack came, I knew what it was. I was prepared for it mentally, I guess.
Yeah. Did you all feel like you knew that it was going to be multiple sclerosis? Did you?
Not yet.
Was not on my radar.
Wow.
No, I was also having symptoms that could have been kind of associated with thyroid problems, and I was diagnosed with thyroid years after the MS. But I thought it was my thyroid, and I had been getting negative test after negative test, and I went to the hospital. I was telling Megan in chat that I went to the hospital to pick up my MRI report because they hadn't sent it to the neurologist, and they asked me to pick it up from the hospital. And my mom and her best friend, I was at college, so my parents came to visit me, and in case something happened. And my mom and her best friend were waiting in the car for me, and I went and got the report and just read it casually down the hall, expecting nothing to be there. And then I saw, several lesions in the brain and one on the spinal column, and most likely diagnosis of MS, like MS. And what? No, I was supposed to go to India that summer, to South India, and I didn't. But the next year, I went to northern India, to the Himalayas, where it's cooler.
Yeah.
And so it slowed me down, but it didn't stop me.
That's good. Yeah, that's one thing with the diagnosis is it just, I mean, look at us. We're here. We're not letting the disease stop us from reaching out and making connections and making contact.
Well, in listening to you guys tonight, it was making me think, when I was first diagnosed in '89, there were no medications for MS. So, and I got beta serum was the first one, and it was a lottery initially, and I got in on a just after the clinical trials were completed. I think it was before the official FDA approval. Anyway, I got on that, and I was on that for a number of years, and then Avonex and a whole bunch of other stuff. But wait, what makes me really sad is I'm not on any medication anymore. And I kind of feel that there are no more options for me, and I feel thrown away.
If you don't mind me asking, why do you feel there aren't options for you?
Well, none of the neurologists that I've seen have offered me anything. I mean, I'm not a candidate for either what's out there, or I've already tested positive for like the PML,
CFC virus.
Right. And I mean, just, yeah, I don't know. They're just not offering me any options anymore. So
Do you see an MS neurologist, Twinkson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, I know.
Has your diagnosis changed, Twixie?
I mean, it's secondary progressive. I mean, I'm much more impaired than I had relapsing remitting, and for, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 years, unless I shared with you, you wouldn't know that I was struggling. But it's not the case anymore.
Yeah. Now, I know you said you say you don't qualify for the clinical trials. Does your doctor come to you with any clinical trials that are taking place?
No.
Because there's a lot of stuff being tested now. Last year I did a clinical trial for the drug Alizumab, and it's being tested in secondary progressive MS, and it's not a DMT, it's a remyelination medication.
Really?
They're looking at to see if it, and my trial, the phase 2A, was to see if it can remyelinate in human models. It showed promise in EAE, the animal model disease, and it's been tested for safety, and this one was for safety and efficacy. So they're expecting probably, it might be a little delayed, but probably fall is when the results of the study will come out. And they're doing 2 different trials with MS. They're doing one for PPMS and non-responding secondary progressive MS, and they're doing for relapsing remitting and secondary response.
And what's the drug called again?
It's called Alizumab. Here, I'll type it in the
message. Terrific. Thank you.
And I thought it was interesting because Megan mentioned rituximab or Rituxan, and that's what I take because I have secondary progressive MS, and my neurologist kind of she wasn't, I don't want to like call her out and like say something, but I don't think she knew what to do. And so she tried me on this medicine like 3 years ago. It was before Ocrevus even came out, and I've been tolerating it well. And so I don't know if that's something for you, maybe just to talk to your neurologist about something, because certainly you don't want your disease to progress.
I don't know.
Well, if it's any consolation, then just that Frank, who was here before, he's had it for
He said as long as I have 23 years.
23 years and stuff. And
That's the guy that was dealing with the.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he hasn't been on a DMT for years, and so I think sometimes they say, and this isn't medical advice. I by no means am a doctor, but just hearing just like eventually, some people say it's like you've plateaued and things aren't getting worse, and I don't know. That's just, but yeah, I think that you should at least get some sort of option to be on the drug. But
Twixie, do you still have attacks?
No, it's I'm just kind of on a
Your attacks
downward.
have stopped?
Yeah.
So,
No, nothing, no active lesions, nothing's ever been, there's been no correlation between any of the MRIs and my disease progression and stuff like that.
what symptoms what kind of symptoms do you have? It makes you wish you had a drug.
Wait, what was that?
What symptoms do you have that make you wish you had a drug that works?
Oh, I mean, I'm so dependent on a walker now. I mean, I'm not in a wheelchair, but I feel like I'm close. I've got a scooter at my disposal. So I mean, mobility. Yeah, all mobility. And it's more, my issues are all lower body, my legs.
Have you thought about going and getting a second opinion somewhere?
For what?
Consult another neurologist.
Just to see what else is out there?
Yeah, like for me, when I live in Des Moines now, but the time I didn't live in Des Moines, the neurologist there is like, you don't have MS. I got frustrated, so I went back to the Mayo Clinic, who originally saw me when I had my symptoms when I was 22. And like, oh, you have MS. And if I ever get frustrated or feel like I need another opinion, I'm very biased towards Mayo. They saved my mom's life twice, so I'm very biased towards Mayo. And they're 5 hours away from you or so.
Yeah,
but,
no, they're terrific.
I'm just like, I always feel like if people working previous in the medical field, when people get really frustrated, I always like people to know that there are options to go see and talk to someone else and maybe go a next level if you're not satisfied, because I've seen too many people get doors slammed in their face and like, well, that's how it is, and it's like, you need someone that thinks outside the box or thinks a different way. And I've been very happy when I'm like, that didn't work for me. Let me go somewhere else and see what they say. So just a thought.
Thanks.
Yeah, it can be. I feel for you because, I know, and we all, get scared of that point, but I just want to tell you that I feel like things are getting a lot more hopeful and a lot more options are coming. I mean, there are drugs, many drugs that exist, but there is the fact that they don't, not everybody's needs are met by the drugs, and that's why some people are recommended for HSCT when they fail all the other options. I don't like the word they fail it.
Right.
I like it. They fail them. The options fail the patient. It's not the right drug, but I feel like there is hope. And I know it's the waiting that's the scary part, because every day is precious and valuable, because every day is you don't want to have something happen that's irreversible. But I hope that there's more things, better drugs coming in.
Well, and just in the span of time that Dan and I, since we've been diagnosed, They used to say there were 200,000 Americans living with MS, and now there's over 1 million, or there's close to 1 million. So just that vast number, it's like pay attention to multiple sclerosis,
Right.
find medicine for us. And, you know, I understand that. It's funny, when Dan and I saw the neurologist last time, I had a conversation. I feel like I'm a cow. They just put me out to pasture. Like, oh, you've got the MS. You're just not a whole lot you can do. But, you know, just anything you can do just to stay healthy. But I know what you're talking about, where you just feel frustrated, kind of hopeless. But, you know, it's good to talk to you, Elizabeth. You have a really good perspective, and Kim, you know, that there's things on the horizon.
Hey, Rick.
Hi, Rick. Hi.
Hello.
Rick, are you wearing a winter coat in Arizona? Are you feeling sorry for us Midwestern people in the freezing weather, or what?
I just had to put my fleecy coat, my fleecy jacket on because it was getting a bit chilly.
Hmm.
It was getting a little bit parky here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how's Frank? I was so sorry to learn what's going on with Frank. Is he okay?
He checked in early in the meeting. He's still in the hospital. He was here for probably 10, 15, about a half hour really, but he was here for probably about 20 minutes and stuff, just to say, you know, he's like, I'm doing, you know, Frank, he's like, I'm doing fine. Everything, he'll be fine. And so, yeah, it's just unfortunate, but hopefully, yeah, hopefully he'll be better.
He is stoic. I think
Yeah.
that's the word for Frank, isn't it? Stoic.
Oh,
Totally.
Evidently, Mr. Pettipool has better heating than I do because he's only about half a mile up the road from me, and he's not wearing a fleece. He's not wearing a fleece jacket. So
It's sunny over here, Rick.
I'd say
Always sunny.
It was nice today. The weather was nice today, eh?
The weather was nice here in North Carolina too. It was 55 degrees. We went for a hike with my kids. And
Fantastic.
yeah, it was nice because it's been cold, a little colder lately, so it was nice to get some warmth.
so really, then it's just it's just Jennifer, Kim, and me. We're the only ones that are dealing with like temperatures at highs in the teens. So
Yeah, it was high 11 today was a high for us. We've been like -4 and stuff, but still, compared to when I lived in Alaska, this is nothing. But, you know, I always have to put it in perspective. But
when I was talking with my kids this weekend, I said, it's almost 100 degrees difference between where you are and where I am. It's insane.
Yeah.
With their wind chill, for sure, it was over 100 degrees. It was 86 here.
oh, wow.
And Megan, where are you?
Wilmington, Delaware. So it was nice today, but it's been cold.
I was
Not
gonna
a
say,
bridge to what you guys are dealing with. What's that?
Did you get a lot of snow with that last punch?
We did. We got 1 day off of school.
Okay. Has the pandemic, because I'd asked my sister teaches back in Iowa, and I was just like, she said, oh, they weren't having a snow day because with the pandemic, y'all have learned that you can do classes remotely when the snow's bad. Is that what they do to you out there?
Yeah. The only reason we got Monday off is because they didn't give us any time to prepare. Otherwise, we would have been working. We worked the rest of the week. My husband too. He works in a different district, but any other year it would have been like 3 days off. But I'm okay. We're fine. They got 1 day off. I'm happy for them. But it's just hard when it's snowy outside and you have little third graders that don't want to be at school staring at a screen. Like, come on. The
late night.
Right.
the late night talk show, one of the hosts did a whole segment that this could be the, like Zoom in the pandemic could mean the end of snow days.
I feel like that's so developmentally inappropriate. I have so many feelings about it. I really do. The best thing, well, as an adult in this situation, the best thing was like getting that 5 a.m. phone call, like, hey, you don't have school today, and you can just sleep because teachers need sleep. So there's been some pros and cons about this whole virtual thing, but the con of not having a snow day I thought was unacceptable for elementary school. Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. I'm 100% there with you.
I mean, at least I got one. I got one.
Megan, you're still on a high from being the home state of the new president, aren't you?
Yeah, I met him one time. I was in high
Really
school.
cool.
I had no idea who he was, but I worked with his daughter's father-in-law. So he came and I'm like, I have a dry cleaners, and I'm like, yeah, what's your name? The one time I meet somebody important.
What a
I
great
know now, obviously. I
I
went to
bet he
university color.
appreciated it. He was like, oh, thank God someone who doesn't recognize me treats me
High
nice.
school girl.
So when was it that you realized it, Megan?
When the boss, Ron Oliveira is his name, was like, you know who this is? I'm like, oh my gosh, because they were related.
You're like, just some old
but-
guy. I don't know, old guy.
Oh no, he looks kind. He has kind eyes. I don't know.
Hey, Megan, you need to be careful. President Biden could hire you to be the person that doesn't recognize him. Every day he can walk into the White House and you could say, who are you, you know? And then you could have a job doing that.
That would be pretty cool. That would be amazing, but I know who he is now, so I feel like it wouldn't be authentic.
Oh, you pretend. Your job is to pretend you don't know him, and then he feels better every day.
Okay, all right, I can do that. I can even bring kids to like say, oh my goodness, you guys know who this is? Like I have it all figured out.
Any
I do
new
feel proud.
celebrities in the last 10 years, there's a good chance I wouldn't know who they were. And especially athletes, I'd have no clue who they were if they came up.
Well,
Like,
the
hey, how's it going?
halftime show. I was like, who is this guy at the halftime show? I had no idea who
do
he
know
was.
The Weekend.
Do know him.
Oh
Well,
my
he was
gosh.
singing, I got it, but when I saw his face.
So much better. I just thought I was an old fart and didn't know who he was.
Well, did you recognize the music once he started to sing?
No.
Most of the songs I did. Yeah, I did.
I made up for my Joe Biden mistake. That's funny.
And I have a question for Tree. If how's the visit with your grandma going?
Yes.
She'll be out in March. We're going to
Oh,
go to the Alamo and SeaWorld and a drive-through zoo. Oh, and the LBJ Ranch, because she likes history stuff.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, so she hasn't come in yet. So we've got to wait
No.
another 2 meetings for that. Okay.
Yep. But I did tell her that I use a walker, and she did not freak out about it.
She's like, me too.
No, my grandmother is super mobile.
Oh.
I'm super jealous.
Tree, when I had a relapse when I was 22, and I couldn't walk. Like I was walking like a drunk person, and I had to borrow my grandmother's old cane from when she had broken her leg, and she didn't need it. So she's like, you can have this.
Great. Awesome.
Walking with my grandma's old cane. She didn't need it anymore. So. It's
Yeah.
good to have mobile grandmas. It's really wonderful.
Yeah, I have an upright walker, so you stand completely upright, and you have your arms like out in front of you, and you grab the handles and walk like that, so it doesn't hurt your back.
Oh, that's great.
But it's really hard to fit inside cars.
It's not very collapsible.
Is it called? Yeah. Is it the up walker, the one where you put your arms like that, or is it just a walk inside one?
It's like the up walker, but not that brand because they're really expensive.
Yeah, I when I had my relapse in 2018 and I was really having a hard time walking, I looked at that it's the up walker. But
that was like
yeah.
$800. And
Yeah,
I don't know about yours, Tree, but I got one recently and it was only like, I don't know if it was like 179 or something. And I mean, came down in price huge.
Mine was $200, but it's also it can hold up to 450 pounds and it's wider because I am a bigger person. And it
What?
has a really cool bucket so I can carry all the stuff that I want to
Oh,
carry.
nice.
Nice.
That's important.
Does it feel as stable to you as a regular walker? Did you try that first?
I've never used a regular walker.
Okay.
I just went
I was
straight for the
curious.
upright walker because
Okay.
there's a medical supply store in town that I go to. The woman who owns it used to be an occupational therapist.
Oh,
And recommended it.
And yeah, she's like super smart about all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I buy like all my medical equipment from her. Although I bought that off Amazon
Yeah,
because she doesn't
I've
sell them.
only used my.
Oh, sorry, continue.
I think she may have frozen.
I think you're muted again.
It doesn't feel as stable to me.
oh, just her.
I don't know what it is. Maybe I feel like if I were to go over the top, it would be that way, like scary. I mean, I'm only standing up.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone to the physical therapist for mobility? It's like where you get to go and try different mobility devices out. Some physical therapy centers have them, and they'll have different kinds of walkers and different kind of rollators, and so you can try out and see what feels most comfortable and most secure for you.
No, I didn't know that was a thing. I'll have to ask my doctor about it.
Yeah, I almost did it. I wish I had, but then they lost my prescription for it, the physical therapy place, and then I was like, I'll just keep going with the cane.
Yeah, I have canes, forearm crutches, my walker. Like, I've just tried so many different things. But my insurance won't pay for physical therapy for me because I'm not like all the time because it's MS. Some days I can walk fine, some days I can't. So they won't pay for it.
Have you asked your neurologist to write like a letter of medical necessity for it? Because my neurologist said she'd renew it as many times as I needed her to.
No, I did not know the neurologist could do that.
Yeah,
I
the
just
neurologist
talked to my PCP.
Yeah.
Your PCP or your neurologist, they can write the medical necessity, because insurance doesn't understand, because they have physical therapy, basically it's supposed to be for an injury, and you're supposed to get better, meet your goal and
specific
get better
and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is really frustrating, but yeah, it's
an ongoing process.
Yeah, it really is.
Sclerosis. Yeah.
Erica Saltzman or Erica Douglas.
No. If it's for me, I'm not in.
Right, the year before the pandemic, and it was a few months. I did it for a few months before the pandemic started in like March, and then I stopped. But I had just found they have in Southern California and Northern California, they have physical therapists that will come to your house through an app that's called Luna, and they take most insurance and I was able to get a physical therapist to come to my house to see me.
Love that.
It was the most wonderful thing ever, but she also worked at a children's hospital, so I stopped when the pandemic happened, but I wish that option was available to everyone, because it's a mess to get insurance to be willing to send a therapist to your house. It's like you have to, it's like they want you to decline to a place where you like it. The way to help prevent decline is not really understood, I feel, by insurance companies for MS. And yeah, when I was talking to the insurance about how I didn't think it was I should fly to California. I should take the risk flying to California. And I was trying to convince them that this is actually mitigating risk for you, because if I come and I get sick, the insurance will incur more expenses than if they just, give it to me here.
Okay. Elizabeth, when did you say you'll know more about that?
I'm going to call my Genentech Access Solutions coordinator tomorrow, and he was going to check with the foundation for me, but he basically said it doesn't look good for the insurance, my appeal with the insurance. It looks like they're just going to deny. But I also read in a Forbes article that another thing you can do is write a letter to the executives of your insurance company, and you can actually get it to them. And they suggested appealing to the executive. This article in Forbes suggested doing that process. So I'm drafting a letter to send to anyone and everyone I can. And there's also I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically healthcare, the healthcare services oversight that oversees insurance for California to make sure, you're being covered through your plan. And I'm looked into, if they deny the appeal, I can set up the appeal with them, but at the same time, I'm kind of on a deadline because I'm 3 weeks late for my Ocrevus.
Yeah, really.
I've only been a month late before on my Ocrevus for the pandemic, and it's just nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth, let me. I mean, it sounds like it could be the managed healthcare, the Office of Managed Healthcare in Sacramento.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. So, and I actually had to appeal to them some years ago for something, and they were pretty responsive. Tell me what the issue is, that your Ocrevus is not covered.
The issue is I have California insurance in California, but I'm in North Carolina staying with my parents during the pandemic, and I'm planning to go back to California as soon as I get a vaccine or something. But the normal coverage for if you're out of state is only emergency and urgent care. And I hadn't realized that because I had gotten urgent care in North Carolina before and had no problems.
Right.
So but I had called my insurance and tried to make sure I was looking up doctors who I could see here, and they hadn't told me until I was already here. And I could have Google searched it and found it, but I had thought that since I had somebody tell me over the phone.
You're not a Kaiser patient, are you?
No, it's a Blue Shield of California.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was hoping you might be a Kaiser patient, because then you could have just gone over into Virginia and gotten the treatment from a Kaiser in Virginia. So essentially, it's getting Blue Cross Blue Shield or getting your policy to cover you out of state.
Yeah, and I'm also asking them to my Access Solutions coordinator to check with the Genentech Foundation, since I meet the financial qualifications, but I don't know, because technically in the pandemic has all the rules are in place without taking the pandemic into mind, you know.
I cannot make any promises. I'm going to put it on my to-do list for tomorrow.
Oh,
But
thank you so much.
I do a lot of work with a company that's part of Roche. And several of the executives in that company previously worked in Genentech. And so they have a lot of good contacts. And I just did a favor for one of them today. So I will write to her tomorrow and see if she can put me in touch with the patient advocacy person for MS.
Thank
Because
you.
all these companies have patient advocacy people. That's how I know this lady, because somebody who works for her is our patient advocate person. And I'll ask her if I can get the name of the patient advocacy person for Ocrevus at Genentech. And if we can get to them, there's a good chance we might be able to do something, especially if I can get Jen to put in a good word for us. And basically what you're looking for is for them to help you out with one
infusion. Yeah, after this, you know, God willing, I'll just be able to go back to California fine. I don't expect here to be 6 months more, hopefully.
All right.
We'll get better.
All right.
That's all.
She owes me for something I did for her today. So,
well, I don't want to waste your favor, Rick.
No. It's fine. It's fine. It's perfect. So I'll write to, and she's great. I mean, I really like this woman. She's I don't know what she did at Genentech, but it was something to do with patient representation. She's a super smart lady. She's really great. And I have another way to go. The president, the CEO of the company, was also a Genentech person, and I have a great relationship with her. But she's about to leave to go to another job within the Roche family, and I don't think I don't need to bother Cindy. I think Jen can handle this. So I'll you're in our database, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I've registered for the emails and.
Right. So you're in our database. So I'll pick your email up from there.
Okay.
And let me see if I can get the right person at Genentech for you to write to, and then if I can get a word in for that person. So I'm putting it on my list for tomorrow. Jim Mills. Okay. Hopefully the person that I connected her to today has agreed to talk to Foundation Medicine. We hope. I think he probably has. In which case, I'll see what we can do for you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's been I've been working on this since before Christmas, and it's just because they told me I was okay up until the time when my infusion was supposed to be the day before the infusion. The doctor's office called up and said no, they denied the request.
All right, and so you're 3 weeks overdue, or 3 months?
3 weeks overdue, yeah. I was supposed to get it on the 21st, I believe.
All right, so that's fine. I'll pitch Jen tomorrow and see if she can do a little research for me and find me the right person at Genentech.
Things have been so up in the air because I finished this lecanemab trial and I want to get back to California so I can do it if it progresses to phase 3. but it's just not knowing. It's, you know, you have so much suspicion with your MS anyway. If this new feeling is something that needs to be looked at in an MRI, but knowing that I just took a medication too, that you know, I'm in the first group of people that have been tested beyond 4 infusions. I got 12 infusions of the drug, and so it's just nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking to be separated from my MS specialist in California. Although I do think we made the right choice coming out here. My kids are learning so much and they're having so much fun, and I'm getting to go on hikes, and but at the same time my face is tingling, and it didn't used to.
Right. What's the trial drug you're on or were on?
Elizanab?
Elizanab.
Yeah, I put it in the chat right there, is how you spell it. ELEZANUMAB. It's a monoclonal antibody, and it's
right.
shown promise in animal models to promote myelin regrowth as well as axonal repair.
Wow.
So,
wow.
And I actually I've been blogging about it, and I had a person who he doesn't work for AbbVie anymore. AbbVie is sponsoring the trial of the drug, but he was on the team to develop the medication in when they were doing the animal models of the clinical trial, and he had really good things to say about why he really felt this drug was really promising. And he has a wife who's had MS for over 30 years.
Oh wow.
And so it was really wonderful to hear from him and hear from somebody who had been working on the drug and knew a little bit about it.
Did you have any direct dealings with AbbVie or not?
No, I'm just a patient. I'd like to have more direct dealings with AbbVie, but
I've never found them that easy to work with from an AnCan standpoint. But I was on a drug of theirs for many years, and I just haven't found them that easy to work with. But if you would like to blog about this on the AnCan blog, we'd be happy to. Well, all you got to do is write it up, and send it to us. And Alexa will put it on the blog, and we'll tweet it out. We'd be happy to. Our blog is open. As I've said before, we would love to. So send me, you can send it to me or to Alexa, RD. I'll put it in the chat window. It's either RD at AnCan or Alexa, and we'll put it out for you.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. I actually started I started a group in a Facebook group. I called it Remyelination, Reaching for the Possible in Multiple Sclerosis. And I've gotten 1,300 people signed up to the group over the last year and a half that I've been doing it. I just kind of wanted to I wanted to pull the curtain back from clinical trials, because you hear about the animal models, and then you hear little bits and pieces as it goes along. But I thought, how wonderful would it be to have personal experiences from other people in the trial. And there's about, I'd like to say, I think around 15 people that were in the trial that are also part of the group. And it's been wonderful to contrast experiences. And then it just, before this trial, I didn't even know remyelination drugs were out there or a possibility that they were looking into. And so that's something I've really been wanting to spread out into the community, that this is coming, there's multiple trials going on with drugs that can actually hopefully repair some of the damage done.
So I've mentioned this to Dan and Jen, and that they're going to help us, but we're actually putting together a clinical trials page on the
Oh, yeah?
AnCan website, and any information that you would like to see appear on that page with respect to MS, if you let Dan and Jen know, because they're going to collect anything for MS, and then we'll move that to the website to include it, to try and include it. We've got to try and figure out a way to make the page general enough to address all the different conditions that we address. But if there's anything that you have ideas, talk to Dan and Jen about it, and we can try and incorporate it onto the webpage.
We can do that. Yeah.
Before things get too out of hand or people start cashing out, and just to mark your calendar then for the next meeting, Kim, 2 weeks from today. So it will be on February 23rd at 8:30 Eastern. So put that on your calendar. So that'll be our second meeting for the month, short month. Because yeah, then that pretty much it will be another 2 weeks after that will be the March meeting. But let's just focus on the 23rd of February.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And get some of those 1,300 people that are on your Facebook page to come into this meeting.
I would love to. I can certainly post about the meeting on there.
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, Megan, how did you hear about our group? You're muted.
I should know better with all this Zoom teaching.
Yeah.
I found it on Facebook through my multiple sclerosis support group. Well, I guess it's not necessarily a support group, but it's for information.
Okay, well
It
that's
may have been when I was Googling. I do a lot of Googling for
okay.
support groups, so it may have been through my Google search for a support group. Yeah.
Awesome.
So did this meet your expectations? I mean, was there anything in particular that you wanted to talk about tonight, or anything?
No, sorry to cut you off. No, I felt comfortable. I felt like it was a safe place to kind of cry within the first 10 minutes. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
It's nice just to be surrounded by people who are dealing with things that no one else I know is. I don't know anyone else with multiple sclerosis. So, and I have a great husband and I have a great family, but it's, you know, they don't get how tired I get. And that's tough. So it's nice just to be around. Some of my questions were answered, so thank you. And I'll be back on the 23rd.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited to have a group to go. I mean, Google found you.
Yeah, well,
Well, we have to thank Miss Alexa for that, because we've been working with her closely, and we've done much better job with our search engine optimization. And so I think we are being found more, and we're so thrilled to be able to make your life easier. I mean, that's why we're here. It's music to my ears when you say that. That is great.
Good.
We love it. We love it.
How about you, Tree and Elizabeth? Did you have anything, either of you, anything you wanted to talk about here at the end?
I think I took up enough of the time.
No, it was
Thank
good.
you everyone for all the support, and thank you so much for listening to me about this. This Ocrevus thing has been driving me absolutely crazy.
Sure.
I really appreciate being able to talk to it and having sympathetic ears, and Rick, you offering to help. That's so very kind.
I'll get on it tomorrow for sure for you.
It seems like insurance problems was a common theme tonight. At least 3 of us in the group are having issues with it.
And I'm paying top dollar for my insurance. Like it's not like have a bare bones plan. If it's a
Right.
top dollar plan, it's like, for this much, shouldn't I get a little more than emergency care out of state?
This feels like an emergency.
Yeah.
Like it's a pandemic. You're 3 weeks past what
Right.
you need. It's unpredictable. Like it feels like an emergency. Maybe not emergency room, but
Yeah.
But part of
don't
me
do
is
that. They might hold you
should I
hostage.
go to the emergency room and just say, oh, I have to have my own.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. My wonderful brother, he is also helping us with the kids. He plays the violin and the mandolin, and he's teaching my daughter. He got her a kid's violin. She's 8 years old, almost 8 years old, and he's teaching her violin. But he offered to drive me to California
Yeah.
to get my Ocrevus infusion if I can't get something worked out. So I'm lucky to have people in my corner.
I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to leave you the
Okay.
room as long as you want it, but we'll get the recording posted tomorrow. Kim, maybe if you can let me know what you talked about so I can put a note in the recording, that would be very helpful.
Sure, I'll put a note in here.
Okay.
So that would be great. And Elizabeth, I'll get back to you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank
And one
you.
way or the other. And I'll see the rest of you probably in 2 weeks for at least for a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking in, guys.
Good night. Good night.
Take care.
Good
Have a good
night.
night.
Good night. And Tree, are everything, the next time we see you, will you have your medicine?
Hopefully. I think I should start it next week, as long as everything goes according to plan.
Yeah. I'll get that.
I'm still uncertain, because part of what they're testing is to see how Aubagio helps with remyelination. So I'm not sure if I have enough lesions for what they're looking for. They wouldn't tell me that.
Fun.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, sorry, you can't. It's like a lesion minimum. Is that what it is? It's like going to the bar and a 2-drink minimum. Is that how it is?
That's how they made it seem to me. So, and my only lesion is on my optic nerve right now. So I don't know, like, if that's going to disqualify me, because I don't have, I have what's called atypical MS, because my lesion's on my optic nerve, not in my brain.
I'm wondering about another trial, and I always space the name of this trial. I don't know, Dan and Jennifer, if you've heard of it. I think it was called the Infinity Trial. And it was something specifically, it was a remyelination drug being tested specifically more towards optic neuritis. And I'm just,
that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
If you go to clinicaltrials.gov, isn't there a list of them there? Am I remembering this correctly?
Yeah, there might be. That sounds familiar. It's late at night, Kim, so I'm kind of spacing too.
I think it is affinity. It is affinity, and it's by Biogen.
Okay.
It's affinity. I'll just put it.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. Thank you so much.
Because they finished the phase 2 clinical trials, and I'm not sure when they're starting phase 3, but I'm thinking that it may be coming up. So it takes some looking into, but.
That's really good information. Thank you.
I love this group. I learned so much.
Yay!
We love having you. I don't know. This is really awesome. We enjoy doing this and talking with everybody.
And again, sometimes when the group is small, we do some of the best conversations, and it's great that they're being recorded so people can watch it. So, yeah.
Very good. Well, then with that, we don't have to leave, but I will shut the recording off in 3, 2, 1.